What's going on, everybody? This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic here, coming at you with opening day here in the USBL as we get ready to start season number 3. And we got a huge bumpy of games for you guys here that you'll enjoy. An hour filled with action, so it's going to be a good one. Make sure you go ahead, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel, by the way. As we'll go ahead and get things underway here as we start off with the Los Angeles Saints taking on the Hawaiian Islanders. And how about this for a massive hit to get season number 3 started? Trevor Story hitting the very first home run of the season for all of the USBL. And the Los Angeles Saints will go ahead and take a 1-0 lead. But the Saints will look to try to score a little bit more than just one run, as Mike Yowinski is going to get himself into field, at least scoring position. We'll hope that Brian Anderson can bring him home, but he's going to end up striking out to Ross Stripling. And a defensive battle to start year number 3. That was actually the only run that was actually scored over the course of the entire game. So we do end up seeing the Los Angeles Saints get year number 3 going with a 1-0 win. So we'll see if some of these other opening day games have a little bit more offensive action for this one. As we will now jump to a team that is the defending, the 2-time defending National League champions, the San Francisco Seals. They will take on the Phoenix Firebirds up next. And we will go ahead and see what they can do against this strong San Francisco squad. And not so great to start things out, as San Francisco will go ahead and take a 1-0 lead here early, as Josh Donaldson will go ahead and round the bases against Joey Lucano. But a thing to watch for San Francisco as well is Hunter Bishop. He is going to take over for Victor Reyes out in center field this season. Did bat 285 in limited action last year. And right now, off to a pretty good start. He's going to be able to round second base. Granted, him and his buddy are both going to end up being stranded. But at the same time, definitely a lot of hope for the future at center field as Hunter Bishop. He's been a good-looking prospect for quite some time, and now we'll get a chance to go ahead and see him at the USBL level for the first time in extensive action. So that will be someone to keep an eye on for those of you that are San Francisco fans, as we will check back into this one. A 1-0 lead for San Francisco. Jeff McNeil is at the plate, but we see not only one steal, but we'll actually see 2 steals from Miguel Corona. He steals himself all the way to third base, and Jeff McNeil is going to go ahead and take care of the rest. He's going to hit a 2-run home run out into right field. It's going to end up going for 406 feet. And Blake Snell gives up the lead, now down 2-1. Gene Segura cannot add on to the 2 runs already scored by the Firebirds. But a nice 2-run shot, and hey, that's why it's so important to have speed out on the bases. You know, he was not able to focus fully on the batter, and Jeff McNeil made him pay for it, man. Straight up and down. So now Phoenix has a 2-1 lead, but the Seals will look to strike back. They got the runners on the corner with Nick Castellanos, as he will actually ground out into a double play. But yet, despite that, the action was forced at first and second. We will see a run get home, so San Francisco will go ahead and tie things up here at 2 apiece. As Randall Gruszek, he's just gonna go ahead and do a little bit of window shopping, because he is going to end up just looking. And that means things will still be knotted up at 2 apiece, as we have a very back and forth baseball game here early on here, as we will see a runner in scoring position once again for the Firebirds. As Luke Vogt comes to the plate, he's 0 for 1 so far. He was looking to take a cut into the opposite field, but he cannot make contact with the baseball. That's going to be a strikeout for Blake Snell, but the guy behind him, though, Leo Urshela, is going to send this one out into left field, and it is going to be gone. Like a girl in a country song. First home run for Gio Urshela. And Blake Snell's day actually gets done really quickly. They do end up pulling him before the start of the 5th inning. So now John Curtis, he's going to have quite a bit of work cut out for him here for sure, as we will end up seeing yet another home run for Phoenix. George Alfaro hitting a solo shot. And the thing about Phoenix, they always had a really good offense that has been strengthened by Aaron Judge. Granted, we haven't seen any Aaron Judge highlights, at least not yet anyways. But that being said, though, the pitching has always held back Phoenix. We'll see if it can hold up over the course of 162 games, which is a lot more than the MLB, because the MLB, the owners still want to walk him out. Regardless of where you sit on that, it's a sad day for baseball indeed, seeing that lockout ongoing. But that will not be affected here in the USBL. We'll still have a full 162 game season here in year number 3, as Paul Goldschmidt, he's going to rip this one out into left center field. It's going to end up being a gapper, as Goldschmidt, he's going to try to round the second base, and despite not having the most speed, he is still going to go ahead and get that double. And another runner in scoring position for Nick Castellanos, and I don't think that's going to be a double play. Oh, no, sir. That is going to be the opposite. A 2-run shot for Nick Castellanos, the first one of the season, as it is now a 5-4 game. Got it down to just 1 run. This could give San Francisco the lead, and it does! 2-run shots for Salvador Perez, the catcher for San Francisco. And that will force Phoenix to go to their bullpen. They will be calling out David Robinson, who has 63 appearances last season. This is his first one of the year, and not how you want to start season number 3. Giving up a 2-run home run there to Seth Beer, as it will help extend the lead here for the San Francisco Seals, as it's already been a pretty big inning so far. Dave Robinson just looking to control the damage a little bit, as we got a stolen base at second. That's Ozzy Albies that's able to slide in there right before the tag, and that will end up drawing a walk, so it ends up seeing runners at second and third, as Nick Castellanos, man, he has just simply been on another level. That's already 2 home runs with him. You want to talk about starting season number 3 with a bang, and we are certainly seeing that here, as it's now an 11-5 lead. Really been a massive one going, as Tommy Hunter just trying to do some damage control, but even Tommy Hunter's going to struggle a little bit, man. None of the pitchers for Phoenix really did not have that good of a day whatsoever, as Nick Castellanos, man, he's just on a whole nother level. He hits yet another home run, 30 home runs, and it will help propel the San Francisco Seals to a big win here on opening day. They will defeat the Phoenix Firebirds by a final score of 13-5. And absolutely no surprises at all, Nick Castellanos gets player of the game. So we jump into some more opening day action, as we now jump into this matchup between the Las Vegas Lounge Wizards and the Columbus Jets. 2 teams that were in playoff contention last year until we got into the final phases in that early September, late August time frame. But 2 teams that both showed improvement here in year number 2, and both are going to be looking to make their very first appearance in the USBL postseason since we started this series originally, as Ronald Acuna will get him off right here to start year 3. A 2-run shot will give the Columbus Jets a 2-0 lead early, but Jock Peterson cannot build off of it, though. He is actually going to be runged up by the umpire on appeal, but Ronald Acuna Jr. gets the first runs on the board. We'll see if this Las Vegas offense can respond in kind, as we will see Clayton Kershaw throw a surprising wild pitch. He is on the wrong side of 30, but still a extremely talented pitcher. But even with his talent, he is still showing his age a little bit here, it seems like, as Kershaw gives up a gapper out in the left center field. And that is actually going to clear up the bases, as that will be an RBI triple that will allow Las Vegas to tie things up at 2 apiece, as it puts pressure on Ronald Acuna Jr. looking to respond. This looks like a no-doubter, and it is! Home run for Ronald Acuna Jr., who has been really crushing the ball in this game. He had a 464-foot homer earlier, and then he had that home run that ended up going for 446 feet as well. Absolute bone-crushing stuff for Ronald Acuna Jr. early. As Columbus takes a 4-2 lead, we jump into the bottom of the 6th inning. We do have a new pitcher for Las Vegas, Jake Odorizzi. He's the long reliever. Already with 3 strikeouts in this one, but running into a little bit of trouble here in the bottom of the 6th, as Colton Long is going to poke this one out in the left field. At least one run's going to score. And then Jock Peterson, he'll get that second run in as well, as it expands the lead for the Columbus Jets, as it makes it 6-2. Could be 9-2 here, depending on if this gets over the wall or not. And sure enough, it actually does. Harold Ramirez, we continue to see guys just crushing the ball. This one going for 437 feet, as Las Vegas will go to the bullpen for the first time, as Joseph Shaw will be coming out to pitch his first appearance here in year number 3, and he will at least go ahead and clean things up here in the bottom of the 6th. No more damage will be done, but Columbus did end up going ahead and really open things up, as Jake Dykman will come out of the bullpen for Las Vegas up next. He had 28 appearances this past season. We'll see if he can get off season number 3 off on the right start. As now, Ronald Acuna, he's been hot today, and these continues to keep the good vibes going, as Ronald Acuna, is this going to lead the ballpark? It does! Wow, 3 home runs as well for Ronald Acuna Jr. And another electric performance, you know, really matching the energy that Nick Castellanos brought for sure, man. As Columbus will also end up winning here on opening day, doing so convincingly, winning by a final score of 11-2. So we've seen a couple, well, this really was our first blown out that we have seen so far. We'll see if we, this game right here should be a little bit more interesting. We got the Minnesota Ducks taking on the Chicago Freeze, and always an important series when these two teams do end up getting together. It seems like whoever wins the total series between these two teams ends up winning the AL Central. In the past 2 seasons, we have seen Chicago win the division, but we are talking about the Minnesota Ducks, who are the defending World Series champions. I mean, they went from going to the wild card all the way to the World Series. It's a legit squad, man. They got some great players. Both teams really have some talented players, whereas Chicago might be a little bit on the downswing right now. Their roster is getting a little bit older, so we'll see if Chicago can really cash it in on the ability to really make another deep run before the core of his team gets too old in order to compete for, you know, those deep runs, right? As Andrelton Simmons actually continues his hitting streak dating back from last season. So counting last year, he does have a 10-game hitting streak still going, and he'll actually set up an Alex Verdugo home run as well. So we will see the first run scored in favor of the Chicago Freeze, as they will go ahead and take a 3-0 lead here, as eventually Luis Castillo will get out of it. But we see a little bit more trouble here as Chris Taylor, he's going to get a hold of one as well, gets one out into a little bit of left field, and it's going to be gone. Solo shot for Chris Taylor ends up going for 395 feet. And Chicago will take a 4-0 lead. And Minnesota's going to make a quick trip to the bullpen. And one of your custom recruits is going to come out. Abdul Diallo is coming out. He was actually a Season 1 custom recruit. He has made it up from AAA. And this is actually the first time that we've seen Abdul Diallo, at least in a Minnesota uniform, making his very first appearance at the USBL. We'll see if he can rise up to the occasion. Runners on the corner, 2-1 count. Can he get some help from his defense? No, he cannot. And 1 run will score. We're going to see a 2nd run score. Here we do. And Abdul Diallo will end up giving up a couple of runs here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And looking to prevent any more trouble, gets Chris Taylor to swing on an inside pitch. So we'll at least get out of any more trouble. But Chicago has done some pretty good work here in this game thus far. Haven't really seen anything in the Minnesota offense. And that's just because they really haven't been able to put anything together. Not even so much as put folks in scoring position necessarily. It has been a rough go for the Minnesota Ducks right now. But, I mean, that's just baseball in a nutshell. You're going to get some cold streaks sometimes, as Abdul Diallo's day is quickly going to be done. And we'll see Emmanuel Quase come out onto the mound to try to strike out Jose Abreu. And I don't think that's what a strikeout is. Abreu gonna hit this one, and it's gonna be gone. First home run of the season for Jose Abreu. And now Chicago with an 8-0 lead, looking to just run away with it right now, as we will end up seeing Reese McGuire also end up hitting a solo shot there, as it will end up being a 9-0 lead for the Chicago Freeze, as Minnesota just looking for some answers right now. Craig Krimble is going to be who they pull out next, and might be considered a little bit of garbage time at this point of the game, but does end up getting the strikeout at the very least. But it doesn't help the fact that Chicago could not get anything going. So we are keeping things rolling here on opening day, as we now check out some NL East action. We got the Charlotte Cougars taking on the New Orleans Kings. New Orleans made the postseason back in season number 1, but kind of in a rebuilding mode ever since, taking on a Charlotte team that always has been capable of going to the playoffs, but we still have not seen it yet. We'll see if this is the year where Charlotte can really break through here and finally get that first postseason appearance of year number 3, as they will take on a New Orleans team that has relied on its pitching and defense a little bit more since year number 2, but that doesn't mean that they can't hit the occasional dinger, as Luis Arias reminds the Charlotte pitching staff of that. A solo shot that will tie things up here at 1 apiece, as Anthony Santana will look to do the same thing, and it looks pretty good, and it does end up leaving the ballpark as well. Solo shot for Anthony Santander, as Shane Bieber struggling a little bit here in the bottom of the 4th inning, but will get his act together and take out the remaining batters for Charlotte here in the bottom of the 4th. As we see more people making their very first appearances, this is Nestor Cortez Jr. coming out of the bullpen. But Cortez Jr. also kind of having a baptism by fire. He ends up getting to the point where bases are loaded up, nobody out either. So Cortez is just really trying his best to make sure not a lot of damage happens here in the top of the 5th inning. As now Marcell Ozuna, he's going to rip one over the middle, as we will see a runner try to get home. Here comes the throw, and it's going to be offline. It was technically on time, but just did not have enough juice on that throw. and the Charlotte Cougars will end up taking a 3-2 lead. Looks like they might very well be extending it, except we will see an out on third base. So that takes out some of the potential of the Charlotte Cougars here in the 5th inning. We will not see any more runs scored after that, at least in the top of the 5th. We might see a little bit more action elsewhere in this game. But Charlotte is going to bring out Roland Lick, make it his first appearance of the season, taking on Anthony Santana, who's been having himself a really good day today. Batting 2 for 3 so far. Home run, double, got an RBI from his own home run. As we're here in the bottom of the 9th inning, we're looking to see if they can make a comeback here, and this will certainly help, as Anthony Santana ends up hitting his 2nd home run of opening day. And now for the free game, Omar Narvaez with a chance to tie things up. He's got a nice little contact, but the center fielder, man, he's going to be able to get under it. And that's going to do things here in this Charlotte-New Orleans game, as Charlotte Cougars will end up hanging on. So thought things will get a little bit interesting in the bottom of the 9th, but Charlotte will end up winning this one by a score of 4-3. So let's go ahead and take it out over to a team that could surprise some people this year. We got the Memphis Bobcats taking on the Milwaukee Bears. As the Memphis Bobcats, man, I mean, season 1 and season 2, or at least season number 1, they were listed as one of the worst teams in baseball. But yet they were always a team that was like in the hunt, like because of how weak the NL Central has been. But we've seen Memphis get better over the past couple of years, and now they look like a team, in my opinion, that could very well make the postseason. Same thing could be said about the Milwaukee Bears. They are also a squad that could possibly have what it takes. They try to make a run buying Nick Anderson on the USBL trade day back in year number 2, but it just did not work out for them whatsoever. So definitely 2 teams to watch out for sure, that could potentially challenge, you know, the Aurora Lightning and the Indianapolis Indians as well. And speaking of which, Memphis taking a 2-0 lead here early. They don't get any more runs, but a nice 2-0 lead so far for the Memphis Bobcats, as JT Realmuto, he wants to get more than just a couple of runs. He's going to hit this thing all the way to the wall, and he's actually going to go for third base. The throw, not in time, as JT Realmuto gets a triple. And now all Dom T. Williams needs to do, hit a little base hit or fly out to the outfield, but it's more than enough space for JT Realmuto to run it in there. Did have to slide, but hey, at the very least though, see Memphis extend that lead. Now a 3-0 game, as Michael Bush will end the bottom of the 4th inning, as we will end up seeing a strikeout swinging. So 3-0 lead so far, as now we jump into the top of the 6th inning, as Lorenzo Cain, he's going to send one out into left field. And that will be the first run that Milwaukee scores here in season number 3 as well. Lorenzo Cain is going to get that hit. And so we will end up seeing Milwaukee getting that 3-1 lead. A lead that is commonly blown, if you ask me. And Memphis will go to the bullpen. Brian Abreu will come in. Pitched a lot last year, man. 86 appearances. And now making his first appearance of season number 3. And not a good start for Brian Abreu. Walked the first batter, and then very next batter, we end up seeing Franmil Reyes hit a 438-foot homer. And this thing is all knotted up at 3 apiece. Really going to come down to the bullpens. We'll see who executes their pitches a little bit better. As Adbert Alessi, he is going to make his USBL debut. And not doing so bad. He's going to get that strikeout there with runners on first and second. We'll see if we can get the same thing with Michael Bush, as that will end up dropping in center field. Can't really handle it all that well. And Milwaukee will end up getting another run on the board. and Memphis will end up taking the lead. We'll see if Phillip Ervin can add to it, but he is actually going to decide to end up doing just a little bit of window shopping instead, and a 4-3 lead as we now jump into the bottom of the 7th inning. Fernando Mendoza hits a hard grounder out past the hot corner, as that is going to end up being a single. Now, why do I show singles? Because I usually don't, because Fernando Mendoza had a 6-game hitting streak to end season number 2, and he's gonna be able to keep that going dating back from last season, as Memphis looks to extend the lead, but they'll have to deal with Kenyon Middleton, 29 years old, first appearance of the year. 1-2 count. It's Matt Olson up at the plate. It's out in the right field. Is it going to be a fair ball or not? It's going to be fair. Free run shot for Matt Olson, as that will increase the lead for the Memphis Bobcats significantly. Now a 7-3 lead, and the bats of Milwaukee will need to get themselves going and get them desperately, as now Memphis will drought out Brad Boxberger, who had an ERA a little bit under 4 this past season. But that's not going to help with the ERA for this year, though, as that is going to end up being a solo shot for Alex Bregman to cut the lead down to 3 runs. And Memphis, because of that, are going to bring out yet another pitcher, Lucas Sims, who was their closer last year. He ended up with 27 saves in 36 opportunities. We'll see if he can start year number 3 right by being able to get this save. But Lucas Sims, this should be the final out, and it is. So Milwaukee tried to make things a little bit interesting in the end, but a soft grounder to the pitcher is going to seal the deal here, as we will see Memphis get off the right foot, winning 7-4. So now we go ahead and jump into the the Pittsburgh Force taking on the Indianapolis Indians. Now, I don't know if it was a glitch in MLB to show or what necessarily happened here, but it decided to use Pittsburgh's custom stadium that we made for them before the start of year number 2. So while this is a home game for Indianapolis, that being said, though, Pittsburgh is, I would say, a little bit more recognizable with this ballpark than, say, the Indianapolis Indians are, and showing it early. Tim McCrasso is going to be able to go in, hit that solo shot, and Pittsburgh instantly takes a 1-0 lead. First batter of the game, by the way, as Trevor Bauer is still pitching for the Indianapolis Indians. The only place he'll get the pitch in, as I doubt he'll be able to be pitching anytime soon, given the scandals that he has faced, as well as, of course, you guys already know the lockout going on with the MLB, as this is going to end up also being a home run. So Pittsburgh ends up with 2 solo shots to start this game out, and they will go ahead and take a 2-0 lead here early, as Jason Hayward is going to come up to the plate here in the top of the 2nd inning, and you'll never guess what happens. Back to back to back. 3 home runs for Pittsburgh to get things started, all resulting in solo shots. So can you imagine if there were like actually people on base, as we see another home run? 4 home runs already in this game, all solo shots. It's a lot of work for a 3-1 game still. It's been absolutely insane thus far, as Absel Garcia looks to continue the home run trend, but he wanted to swing for the fences and just ends up whiffing on some air instead, as he's going to end up striking out swinging. As that's going to wrap up 2 innings of play, as Pittsburgh still has a 3-1 lead as of right now, but Kyle Schwarber, he sends an absolute nuke over to the right-hand side, and we'll see the first non-solo home run of this game. you know, we've had 5 home runs now, and we just now saw our first non-solo home run. A little bit of a interesting trend that we're seeing. It just blows my mind just a little bit. But Pittsburgh taking a really good lead. They're up 5-1 on the Indians. And we're going to expand it here as well in the top of the 4th as Jason Hayward is going to launch this one in the right center field. And that's also a home run. I did not, you know what? I did not realize that what we have here is the home run derby. You know, the home run derby doesn't start till July, I was told. And here we are. And we are seeing it unfold here on opening day. It's been absolutely crazy. And you know, the manager for the Indianapolis Indians, he's seen enough at this point, and he is going to take the ball away from Trevor Bauer at this point, as we will go ahead and see who Indians pulls out next out of the bullpen, and they will call upon Shaw Dyer. Had 31 appearances this past season, a 3.7 ERA. So not a bad reliever by any stretch of the imagination, but having to come in here a little bit early. We'll see if they can put in a few innings of solid work. And a good start here in the top of the 4th, you know, getting the strikeout there. But definitely a huge deficit to overcome, especially when you are going up against Jacob deGrom. I mean, he is one of the best pitchers in the USBL. We just haven't seen him in the postseason because the team around him is not ready to compete. Also, it does not help that Minnesota and Chicago are very talented baseball teams, as well as I'm saying that we've seen his pitching staff for Pittsburgh get a little bit rattled up a little bit. Jose Altuve, he's going to end up hitting a home run. And that will bring out Richie Burrs, who's had 43 appearances last year, and ERA barely over 3. So definitely a solid reliever for Pittsburgh. And showing with that composure going up against Alex Baum as well, as that will end up getting Pittsburgh out of the top of the 7th inning. And that lead is looking a lot shorter now, down just a 3-run deficit at this point, as Keon Kella is going to come out here. 47 saves and 49 opportunities. We'll see if he can go ahead and get these 3 outs. As now, 1 out, runners on first and second, facing Jose Altuve. He's going to hit one between the third baseman and shortstop. This could bring in a run, as the cutoff man will not have a chance to go ahead and throw for home. So now just a 2-run game here. And all of a sudden, the game-winning run is going to be at home plate. And Pittsburgh has seen enough. They are going to rattle off Luke Jackson. And not a very impressive year that he had last year. 4 for 3, but an ERA close to 5. He's coming in a big moment to potentially get his first save in 2 seasons. We'll see if he can get it done as Yorvin Alvarez hits a rocket to first, right in the glove of the first baseman, and that is how it ends up shaping out. Pittsburgh Force will be able to hang on and win this one by a final score of 7-5. Good win for the Pittsburgh Force. So, definitely a little bit of excitement here on opening day. What has been your favorite game so far? Let me know down in the comments. But we go on to the Boston Quakers taking on the Washington Senators. 2 teams that have both made the playoffs last year. A little bit of a, pride between the American League and the National League as well. And we know that the Washington Senators have a fantastic offense, but they've had the same problem. They got to go up. They do not have very good pitching, and this could be a little bit of a matchup issue because it seems like every time that we saw Boston play in the first couple of seasons, their offense just really has a very good performance, right? I mean, we saw it with, Robert Poisson right there. He hits a nice one, and then Mookie Betts is also going to go ahead and go yard as well. So a 2-0 lead here for Boston early, as the home run derby champion Max Muncy is at the plate, but he's going to strike out though. He actually ends up going ahead and doing a little bit of window shopping. as we now have a 2-0 lead here. We'll see how the Washington Senators can respond going up against the #1 pitcher for Boston, Deivi Garcia, as that is going to be gone like a girl in a country song. Solo shot that will get the Washington Senators on the board for the very first time in season number 3. As now, Pete Alonso, the former Baltimore Stone Crab, looking to tie it up, has that golf swing ready to go, except he forgot to actually make contact with the baseball. That's the most important thing. So kind of similar to what we saw in that previous matchup between Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. All of the runs being scored so far coming courtesy of the home run ball. But Bryson Stott is going to break that trend, though, as he's going to end up hitting a gapper into left center field. We saw one score. We're going to see a second. Yes, we will. Wow. I thought that man was going to be out. I didn't think he had a chance. But, hey, it is what it is. The officials believe that he was safe, and we're going to roll with it, man. I am not the manager. I'm just out here commentating for some USBL opening day action. Got to fill that void of not having baseballs in our lives somehow, you know? Like, we should be having spring training right now, and yet it's not happening because people want to be greedy. You hate to see it, but you love to see USBL action, though, as Ronaldo Lopez will come out on the mound. He's been used a lot in year number 2. 88 appearances. So, you know, being in more than half the games as a reliever, I mean, that probably puts a toll on the arm eventually. So, we'll see how he looks here in year number 3. Thankfully, you know, having that off season, of course, as we jump down here in the top of the 4th inning. And bases are loaded for Mike Tauchman, who is going to hit this one into foul territory, but it will end up being caught, and that actually goes to the benefit of Boston because that actually allows runners to go ahead and advance. So interesting development there, as we'll check out Adam Hensley, who did not have a good year last year, batting .189, not a single home run to his name, couple of RBIs though. So we'll see if Adam Hensley getting his first home run is out in right center field, but it's going to not leave the ballpark. Still a great double though for Adams Hensley, and he will be moving into scoring position. We'll see if Bryson Stott can go ahead and bring him home, and sure enough, he actually does, and it will be cut down to a 2-run ball game, as we will see a little bit of a mound visit for Deivi Garcia. We're going to try to get things going here, checking up on his young pitcher. And that's the thing, Deivi Garcia is a younger pitcher, hasn't fulfilled his potential completely yet. Don't know if he'll ever be a #1 caliber starter per se, but he's got potential to be a really good starter, man. I will say that. Always someone that I'm happy to have on my baseball team, that's for sure. As he will get out the bottom of the 4th inning, and we'll give his guys a chance to respond here in the top of the 5th. Paul DeJong. Only doubt is if it actually ends up leaving the ballpark or not, but by that camera angle, looks like it's going to end up being a 2-run home run for Paul DeJong, as it now extends the lead to 4 runs. How about let's make it 5 runs real quick, as that is going to leave the ballpark. And now Boston taking a commanding lead here. They'll take a 9-4 lead. As now, bottom of the 7th inning, Pete Alonso. He also wants to go ahead, enjoy the little bit of that party, and is going to hit a 2-run shot that will actually get Washington right back into the game, as Boston will bring out Tanner Rainey. 46 appearances this past season, ERA close to 4. He's going to look to try to set things up here, but Washington's really trying not to go down without a fight. Down to their last 6 outs, they need to make up 3 runs, and that double will certainly help in terms of getting a rally going. As David Fletcher, he's up at the plate, And he is going to swing at a bunch of air. Gets fooled by the outside slider. And now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Marte gets a hold of one as well. He's going to send this out in the right field, and it's going to be gone. And Ketel Marte makes it a really interesting game now. Just a 1-run difference. Gabriel Torres with the tie. No! He's going to end up striking out swinging. Man, that is absolutely tough as Washington's down by 1. Even though they have more runs or more hits than the Boston Quakers. Boston just having some more timely hitting thus far. As we go into the bottom of the 9th, Andrew Barantandi looking to keep the hopes and dreams alive. He hits one out into left field. Does it stay in the ballpark? Yes, it does. And it's going to end up being caught at the warning track. And that is going to do things here. First, definitely a back and forth affair. But the Boston Quakers going to come out on top, winning for the American League, winning 9-8. As we check in on other games coming out throughout opening day, we now have the Louisville Colonials taking on the Aurora Lightning. A little bit of some NL Central Divisional action. And Aurora is a team that went to the postseason last year, but Louisville did make a pretty big splurge in free agency. They were able to get the son of Vlad Guerrero Jr., ward him away from the Philadelphia Patriots, and he is now in this Louisville squad. We'll see if that takes him over the top here on the, into the postseason. Conversely, Aurora, you guys saw from the season preview episode, #1 pick, George Alberto Hernandez is on the USBL roster. So we'll see how long it takes to see George Alberto Hernandez, which I believe is being employed as a long reliever to get some more experience before he actually starting in USBL games. So we'll see how long that arrangement holds up. As speaking of which, there he is, the former #1 pick in the year 1 USBL draft, George Alberto Hernandez, making his very first USBL appearance. And we'll see how he ends up faring in this one, as he ends up giving up a ground rule double in his second at bat. So already not looking good, taking on Jason Dominguez. He's going to go off, and this will end up dropping. So Louisville gets a run on the board. He's not responsible for that run, I don't think. But not exactly how you wanted to start off a USBL career. Not by any stretch of the imagination. As George Polanco, he's had some hitting success today, to say the least. As that also ends up clearing the bases as well. So George Alberto has given up 3 runs already. And they are going to hook him quick, man. Absolutely ruthless. Probably not a good start for a #1 overall pick. Having all those expectations. The Aurora fan base waiting to see him come up. He was in AAA all of last year. And he gets his first shot at the USBL. And he gets absolutely torn apart. It's not a good look whatsoever. But he is a young kid. He'll learn eventually. He's got a lot of potential here in this league. Just maybe not ready to contribute at a high level yet. So now Tony Goslin, a veteran, comes in trying to keep things at 5-0, get the out at center field. We'll see if the center fielder can gun him down, but the throw was a little bit offline. And Louisville will end up getting another run on the board, as Louisville takes a 6-0 lead here. Definitely been some lows over for the Royal Lightning. As now we jump into the bottom of the 7th inning. Anthony Rendon, he's going to send one out into left field and is going to leave the ballpark. And we finally see Aurora get themselves up on the board. A solo shot for sure. As now 6-2 lead here. Tyreek Skubal trying to keep things under control, but Dominic Smith able to find a way to beat the shift. One of the rules for the MLB, trying to ban said shift, but I mean, you just got to find the way to beat it. And Dominic Smith, surely, most definitely found a way to do just that for sure. As now, bases loaded, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, as Tyler Alexander is actually going to walk a runner home. Absolutely insanity. And now it's a 3-run game. Osuna looking to give him the lead as it's up. Is it a fair ball? We'll see if it holds up, and it's sure enough, it's going to be a home run. 390 feet. And just like that, the Aurora Lightning have the lead. They're up 7-6 now. And now it's this Louisville pitching staff that is really beginning to fall apart. 7-6 game. Feliz, he's in the game for the Louisville Colonials, but can't do any better. He gives up a home run. Only a 2-run home run, that's for sure, but Anthony Rendon with his second home run of the game. And now a 9-6 lead before it gets right back to Dominic Smith. I believe second at bat of the inning, and he does end the bottom of the 7th. And it will be a 9-7 lead for Aurora. As we'll check in on Steve Cishek, who has been called from the Aurora bullpen. Really good year last year, 2.7 ERA. Definitely a very good reliever, and looking to keep Louisville at the 6 runs that they currently scored. Most of which coming in that 5th inning, of course, as looks like we have a little bit of defensive miscommunications, as it originally was supposed to be a double. But I guess he saw that extra opportunity, got to third base, and that will make this RBI just so much easier, as he just only had to do was just get it out into the outfield, and I mean, rest is history. So a 2-run game now as Buster Posey is up at the plate, but he's actually going to fall for the outside pitch, and he will end up striking out. And speaking of strikeouts, we do also see Jason Dominguez striking out, swinging as well. But closing the gap a little bit though, cutting it down to a 2-run lead, as that will bring out Ryan Presley, their closer from last year. 43 saves and 51 opportunities, but might have a little bit trouble in paradise, as the guy with 99 speed hits a gapper, and you know he's going to go for third base, and he's going to get in there. Can't even get the tag down as well. And all of a sudden, tying run at the plate, Vlad Guerrero Jr., he sits one out in the right field, and he will be called out, but this run should be able to get up in there, and it certainly does. So Vlad Guerrero kind of struggling, and now up to Charlie Blackmon to try to keep the hopes alive, and sure enough, he actually gets it. Charlie Blackmon going for second base, and will remain at second base, but now runner in scoring position. One more hit could very well get the Louisville Colonials at least to the bottom of the 9th. David Peralta, he's gonna hit one out into right center field. Is it gonna drop? It doesn't. Wow, home run for David Peralta. And oh my goodness, it's barbecue chicken after that. Louisville wins 10-9, but what an insane comeback that we just saw. So we have one more game left here in this opening day coverage, this opening day episode, and it is the Denver Bald Eagles taking on fellow NL West divisional opponent, the San Diego Whales. Now, Denver has been a bottom feeder the past couple of seasons, but they did get a little bit aggressive in free agency. They signed Tim Anderson, have a little bit of a veteran presence to help the young guys, help them develop and whatnot. And we'll see how it ends up turning out, man. We'll see if Denver becomes a competitive team because of it. San Diego also kind of trying to find its footing. They're kind of the forgotten man because, like, they're not terrible. by any stretch of the imagination. Like, they haven't had to sell or anything like that. But at the same time, though, they have also haven't really done anything. Like, they haven't had any playoff appearances or anything like that. So we'll see if they can get themselves past, like the Phoenix Firebirds, and more important, the top tier in this league, the San Francisco Seals and the LA Saints. And that will certainly help them out, man. Get that 2-0 lead early, as Khalil Lee is going to come to the plate, first at bat of the season for Denver. And Khalil Lee is going to do some things, man. Able to get himself a single to get things started here in the bottom of the first inning. And that is going to be the first career USBL hit for center fielder Khalil Lee. So congratulations to him on that achievement, as it will bring up Hunter Dozier, who strikes out. But Khalil Lee is also going to get himself a stolen base. Okay. I like how Khalil Lee is playing, man. He might be an asset for this Denver squad for sure. As Austin Meadows is up at the plate, he's going to go ahead. He's going to hit one out deep in the left center field. It will not be a ground rule double, but Austin Meadows will take care of business, also helping and responding to the San Diego threat. As later, Hunter Renfroe was at the plate for Denver. Bases were loaded too, so this could have very well been a much bigger inning than what it actually ended up being. And now a 2-1 game. Here comes the San Diego Whales custom prospect Anthony Johnson, OG recruit, up at the plate. He's going to swing one down the left-hand side and going to get it past the hot corner. Going for second base, though, and he's going to be called out. Wow, Anthony Johnson wanted to stretch that from a single to a double, and it ends up backfiring horribly. And even though they got the stolen base there, I mean, we could have been seeing 2 runners in scoring position. That's all I'm saying. It did not happen like that. But Cabrian Hayes will at least get a run in for San Diego, and they will indeed take a 3-1 lead, as Cabrian Hayes will go ahead and settle in at second base, as the manager will come out and talk to Dustin May here, as Dustin May, struggling a little bit, already at 51 pitches and not even through 3 innings of play yet, but does calm himself down a little bit as he's able to get that strikeout to end the top of the third inning. But facing a 3-1 deficit, need the bats for Denver to come alive a little bit. That's something that Denver has struggled with, getting good offense, because of their players are so young compared to a lot of the USBL rosters around the league. But Brandon Lowe will help with the cause by hitting a solo shot. And that is going to end the day quickly here, as we will see the starter pulled after just a 3 to 4 innings. Definitely a very quick trigger. Something that I still need to kind of adjust the sliders a little bit. Is something I forgot to do going into season number 3, because I really do feel like the starters do end up getting pulled a little bit too early sometimes. So something that I want to address when we get to the April podcast. That will be the first episode where we have a, podcast, going around the league and going around that type of stuff. Generally, just to help with, not only help videos in the future be a little bit shorter, and then at the same time be able to push more content out here for the baseball channel. So kind of two birds with one stone, that kind of thing. Of course, opening day will always be an exception. That is always going to be, a 1 episode spectacular, one of the longer episodes of any season. As speaking of opening day spectaculars, man, look at this Denver team, man. Maybe that veteran presence is really starting to help out, as Khalil Lee, he gets his first hit, he gets his first stolen base, and then he's going to get his first home run, 2-run home run, by the way. And it's a 6-3 lead in favor of the Denver Eagles, man. Might be seeing something brewing here with this Denver squad. We'll see how they hold out throughout the grit and grind of a 162 game season, as Rowdy Tellez is going to hit a solo shot on Dustin May. It ends up going 426 feet there. So a 6-4 lead for Denver as we go into the bottom of the 4th inning, as Austin Meadows comes up to the plate. Had a good year last year, batting close to 300, 24 homers and 82 ribbies. Batting 1 for 2 so far is Austin Meadows. He hits this one out in the right field. It's going to be gone. A home run for Austin Meadows, as that will end up going 404 feet. And San Diego will go to the bullpen again, this time calling in JoJo Romero. That is one heck of a first name, if I say so myself. You'll love to see it, as he will be facing Brandon Lowe here. Got a full count here as Brandon Lowe, he gets a hold of one. Is that going to leave the ballpark? And it does. Another home run for Brandon Lowe. This ball was absolutely crushed too. It ends up going 482 feet. And not to be outdone, Bobby Bradley is also going to get involved. He's going to hit a solo shot. It actually was a little bit farther, 489 feet. So JoJo Romero gives up 2 home runs off rip, and they're now down 9-4, as Hunter Renfroe thought about taking a swing but ends up freezing there a little bit, and that's going to end up being a strikeout looking, as they will bring up Adam Duvall, who's always been like a boom or bust kind of guy. You know, has some power, but he did bat on the interstate last year, 191. But when he does make contact, he usually does put some pretty good power on that baseball. And we see it right there. Adam Duvall, he's going to get his first homer in the year and crushes it too, frankly. I don't know if it's the Rocky Mountain air or what's going on, but we're seeing a lot of big home runs here in this ball game, as that ends up getting crushed 463 feet. We see someone trying to steal second base, but I don't know what that man was doing, to be honest. 6 speed and you wanted to try to steal second, you might be pushing your luck a little bit, just to put it nicely, right? So it is what it is. 10-4 lead for Ke'Bryan Hayes, as San Diego trying to make some kind of comeback. Why are you throwing to the cutoff? Oh, that could have ended the inning. If he would have just thrown it directly to the second baseman, probably would have gotten the out, and we wouldn't be seeing a run scoring for San Diego there. So definitely a little bit of a head scratcher, and that's the thing with rebuilding teams. You know, there's always going to be some growing pains. You know, no matter how talented of a group is, when you're in that rebuilding mode, it just, you know, you're going to get some plays like that. Like, you're going to get some good, you're going to get some bad. As long as they maintain the long view and get that occasional veteran, you know, Denver will be fine. Don't know if they're going to be a playoff team, but hopefully they're good enough to where they at least aren't sellers again. We have seen them as sellers in both year 1 and year number 2. We'll hope that the 3rd year is a charm in terms of actually fielding a competitive baseball team, right? So that being said, 10-7 lead here for Denver, as we see Sam Freeman go to work here a little bit, get a couple of strikeouts here, but Austin Meadows, he's going to keep the home run derby going a little bit. He crushes this ball again. This one going for 466 feet. It was an absolute rocket, and extends the lead 11-7, where we'll see Tim Anderson at the plate. And Tim Anderson, the former Charlotte Cougar, he's going to get an extra base hit as well. First time that I've called his name so far today, as Tim Anderson does get into scoring position, but he ends up getting stranded there, as San Diego goes to the bullpen once more. This time, Phil Modden coming out to pitch for the San Diego Whales. He will start the inning well, get that strikeout, but then Hunter Renfroe, he's going to take a massive cut at that swing, and that will also end up being a strikeout as well, as that brings up Adam Duvall. And Duvall, when he hits it, it's really a thing of beauty, man. It's just an absolute moon rocket there. Adam Duvall gets that second home run of the game, and it's now a 12-7 affair as Kurt Caselli, he will end up striking out there. So 12-7 lead here for the Denver Bald Eagles. It's just been a hitting affair, man. 25 hits between these two teams, and we still got 3 more innings of action to go. Like, we are far from finished, right? Like, we got a lot to unfold here, as Tim Anderson gonna take a cut, and he's gonna end up striking out here. So not a great debut for Tim Anderson. It's gonna end up being a 1-for-4 day for him, I would imagine. But I mean, other guys have been stepping up. Brandon Lowe, for example, gonna get his 3rd home run of the day. Solo shot, granted, but now a 13-7 game as Bobby Bradley finds a little bit of inspiration from Brandon Lowe, and he's also going to go ahead and he is going to go yard as well. 2nd home run of the afternoon for Bobby Bradley, as it is going to be a 14-7 lead before Daryl Zuniga comes in. And this is their closer, by the way. You know you're down bad when you gotta bring your closer in before the 9th inning, but Daryl Zuniga responding pretty well, honestly. He's gonna get that strikeout there. And then as for Adam Duvall, well, Adam Duvall is actually gonna hit this one out in the right field. Beats the shift a little bit and gets that double. Granted, Adam Duvall will end up getting a little bit stranded there, but Denver will, of course, win opening day, and team showing a lot of promise, man. We'll see what Denver ends up doing over the course of a full season, but Denver will end up winning this one by a final score of 14-7, with Brandon Lowe being named player of the game for Denver. So guys, that is actually going to go ahead and wrap things up here for opening day. Next time out, excuse me, we will end up finishing up the month of April. So we'll finish up the opening month of the season, and then we'll start to speed things up a little bit, just because we are starting to see MLB The Show 22 come out here pretty soon. So want to do something with MLB The Show 22, and that will mean less USBL, but to make up for it, we'll have the podcast episode, and then starting with the month of May, we'll have 1 gameplay episode per month, or at least that's my plan anyways. So, gonna make a couple of changes here, a little bit of an update for you guys, since I know it's been a hot minute since I've posted really any content on the baseball channel, but we're back. We're gonna be back better than ever. Gonna try to be at least semi-consistent, maybe 2-3 times a week if we're lucky. But that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. But you enjoyed today's USBL content as we start year number 3. I need you guys to do me a favor, man. Smash that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new. This is JohnJake Baseball on the mic signing off. I'm hoping you're all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.